Hello, beautiful beings, and welcome back to my channel Soul Journey. My name is Beck, and today I wanted to talk about something that has been on my mind the last few days, but something that I have been working on for several years as I've put my stuff out there. And this is something that I've kind of honed my awareness and belief around. And that is understanding the job of the guru. And I'm using the word guru here because I feel like it explains it the best way. But you could say, spiritual teacher, guide, pastor, whatever works for you. And obviously, depending on your belief systems, this might feel differently to you. But this has been my experience when it comes to spiritual teachers or gurus. And this awareness has come through not only because of what I've learned and my experience, but my experience with people who follow what I teach too. And so I wanted to make a video on my feelings on what the job of the guru is, because I feel like there's a lot of misconceptions, not at the fault of anyone. Our planet is going through a huge paradigm shift when it comes to what does it mean to be on a spiritual path, what it means to have your own spiritual journey. And for a very, very long time, there's been this belief that there are a select few who have the ability to tap into God or source, or they're born with these extrasensory gifts, or because becoming enlightened is so difficult, that the guru or the spiritual teacher is basically the person on the mountain who then shouts down what God wants, or spiritual universal teachings. And as we're shifting into out of the 3D and into the 5D, 6D, there's becoming an understanding that we are all sacred beings, we are all spirits having a spiritual journey, or a human journey, and that it isn't really about there being a chosen one or a select few, but rather there are some people who are in full flow of understanding their connection to source and being open to the messages and the understandings, and people who are closed off to those understandings and their higher connections, not because they can't, but because of their beliefs around what they can know, that they can have intuition, all of these things. And there are people who definitely come down with the soul contract to remain open from when they are very small, or it's their journey to step into that. And so I'm not going to say that there aren't beings who aren't more open. That is true, but that doesn't mean that they are the gateway to that. And I think a lot of people are beginning to understand this and realize this, but I'm noticing there are pockets of people, especially people who have were raised in a space of follow a guru, follow a teacher, that often go outside of themselves to get this knowledge instead of going within. And I get a lot of messages from these people asking me all these questions, oh, what do I do about this? What do I do about this? What do I do about this? And, it's this idea of like, save me from myself. I can't understand this, so explain it to me. And of course, the job of the guru or the teacher, which there is a job, there are people who are here to do that, is not to go, this is truth, now go do it. It's about giving other beings tools that they've either learned through their own understanding, or through following another teacher, whatever, giving them a multiple amount of tools so that they can take them on their own personal soul journey to find the answers within themselves. And And it's interesting because this isn't just with teaching. This is also with healing. The concept of having to go to a healer for your healing, or go to a teacher to understand God or source, ultimately stems back to a belief that you can't on your own. Which is a fundamentally flawed concept, when you consider that we're all projections of source. We are all here to have a human experience. We are all here to have an experience. And this goes all the way up to spirit guides too. It's good to know when a being or a person maybe has a bigger vantage point. Obviously, if you want to know like who's coming from a long distance, you ask the person up on the mountain. You go, hey, like, what do you see? Because you understand they see more. But that doesn't mean that they are better or that they're special in some way. It's just that they've trekked up the mountain. They've done the work. And so, recently, for a while, I would message these people back and I'll go, oh, maybe this, maybe this, maybe this. And I realized it wasn't helpful. Occasionally I'll be like, oh, like, I'll give an example. Someone asked me, like, oh, what is the, what was it? What is the best music for meditation? What is the best this? What is the best that? And I'll often, bring them back to, it's the music that makes you feel peaceful. Or they'll be like, what do I do to find my, what do I do to get grounded? What do I do to find my joy? But they often tell me what they're excited about, but then it's like they're looking for validation for me to go, yes, that's okay. Yes, that's okay on your path. And I try to always bring it back to, does it make you feel good? Does it make you feel open? Does it excite you? And I try to turn it around back on them, because my job, I feel, is to empower all beings to understand that it's their personal journey. It's not just one person heading up the mountain and all these people following them. That's not the purpose of Source. The purpose of Source is to experience itself from all different angles, through choice and contrast and understanding. And I often find when someone is following someone else to knowledge, they never really gain it for themselves. They never own it. And the reason I say that is from my own experience when I was younger. I was around a lot of people who were, ahead of me on the path. And, because I wasn't confident in my own intuition, I wasn't confident, even though I was very intuitive, even though around people who, knew less than me, I was very intuitive and I was very helpful. I always went to these other people and was like, oh, like if I have a problem or if I don't understand, I'm going to go to them because they're more tapped in. And after a while, I realized it was making me feel like I couldn't find the answers myself, that, I was somehow disconnected from the answers. Like I needed them to answer it for me because they knew better. And I actually had a close friendship with one of these people who were actually similar to my age. And after a while, I was just like, this doesn't feel good. And we actually kind of had a parting of the ways. And as soon as that happened, I started having to go to myself. I had to talk to my guides myself. I had to get quiet with myself. I had to do the shadow work. I had to get present. And I actually found that the answers were so much more clear, that once I trusted myself and I opened myself to believe that I could have those answers, they came very easily, because I understood that I only didn't have those answers because I believed, which was restricting, that I couldn't have that flow easily. And so as soon as I opened myself and trusted that I could have that flow of information, that energetic water faucet turned on, and I was able to have all of that information. So I feel like I'm coming into a new state of understanding around this when it comes to engaging with people who are always asking me questions. Now, don't get me wrong. I love when people ask me questions. They'll be like, hey, I've been working on this thing, blah, blah, blah. Do you have a little insight? I am totally fine with that. I enjoy it. I love engaging with people. But it's the people who come to me with, oh, I have all of these problems, fix it for me. That I have an issue with, because that's their fundamental issue, is that they don't believe in themselves. They don't believe that they can know what's best for them. And so that's where their big disconnect is. So of course they're going to feel a lack of guidance. Of course they're going to feel disconnected because they're constantly looking outside of themselves for that fix. And, that plays into that, ultimate illusion of separateness. And that separateness is important, of course, for this reality. It's, it's the contrast that makes us see what's around us. If everything was light, we wouldn't know what direction to go in. If you think of it in a very tangible way, like if you are standing in a completely white room that goes on infinitely with nothing to guide you as to where you are, you could go in circles. You don't know how far you've gone. You have no idea. You have no perspective. And so it's those shadows and those contrasts that help you navigate existing. And that's often why spirit wants to come into more dense realities. You have source and then you have all the different densities. And spirit and source loves to experience the densities because it helps it understand itself. I understand that I have me, and then I can look at this plant and go, oh wow, okay, this is source, but now I can navigate this. I can understand, what this is. And so there's often a desire to escape that contrast, escape the discomfort. And we often try to go to teachers and healers to save us from it, instead of really going into the contrast in ourselves. Okay, I'm not feeling well within myself. What are the belief systems that I am focusing on that are causing that? Going in and understanding why it's coming up for yourself. Because, the teacher, the guru may be very intuitive. They might know. But the journey we're here to have isn't about someone, telling us the journey. It's about us experiencing this journey. It's about us learning and opening and awakening. And if you always want someone else to do it for you, to make the path easy for you, that soul expansion isn't going to be as great as it could be if you did it on your own. And, we can spend all our day in an ashram. We can spend all our day doing yoga. We can spend all of our time thinking about spiritually awakening and pulling a card and reading and going, oh yeah. But it's really the work. It's the sitting in your sacred space. It's about taking the time. It's about actually engaging in the things we learn. The guru can only show you the door, or the teacher can only show you the door. You have to walk through it. Like Morpheus says to Neo, it's I can show you the door. You're the one who has to walk through it. And so it's those moments when you're journaling and you are asking your guides. You can think about, I'm going to connect to my guides all day long, but it's when you actually sit down and say, okay, give me the information, and you journal and you pull the card and you think about it and you explore the shadow aspects, the parts that are uncomfortable, the parts that resist what card is coming up. It's about sitting with your old stuffed animals from your childhood and letting yourself have a little cry. It's about getting quiet. It's about doing the breath work. It's about giving yourself the time to actually tap in. And as much as going to a teacher is really helpful for clarity, if you're just always sitting at the foot of the teacher, you're not focusing on you. You're focusing on what that teacher is saying and hoping that it integrates in after you hear it enough. Whereas the real spiritual work is about doing it. It's about applying it to everyday life. It's about, taking that mindfulness practice and having it while you do the dishes, having it while you're going to work, having it while you're taking a shit. It's about understanding that spirituality is constant. This is spirituality. This is spirit incarnating itself into the physical. There's no time when you're not in your spiritual practice. The real question is, are you engaging with it? Are you choosing to see it as that? Are you choosing to see the watering of the plants as you giving life to something else? Are you seeing you creating the painting as you creating your reality? Are you seeing how your every single thought creates and constructs your reality? Are you focusing too much on where you're lacking? Are you focusing too much on where you don't want to be? Are you focusing too much on what's going wrong? And are you aware of that? That's creating your reality. And again, a teacher can guide you to these awarenesses. A teacher can guide you to these understandings, but it's your work. It's you working on why your body doesn't feel good. It's your work on understanding that your body is speaking to you. And no teacher and no healer is going to fix that for you. Yes, they can adjust your frequency because they're in a more aligned frequency. They can adjust your frequency. You can match them because they're putting that intention in you, and you're gonna feel okay, better for a little while because your body hasn't trained to their frequency. Your body isn't trained to the crystal. Your body hasn't trained to the ashram, because there's intense intention there, and you're gonna feel good for a little while. But if you go back to your regular life and you don't shift anything, if you don't actually change your mindset, if you don't actually change the way you see things, your body's going to go back to the way it was, because your thoughts create your reality. And no teacher, no guru, no healer is going to be able to do that for you. And so, it's important to, once you read that book, once you listen to that video, once you listen to that audiobook, to put it down, get quiet with yourself, and integrate it with your own being, and integrating it with your own knowledge, and then start utilizing it in a very proactive way. And proactive doesn't mean, okay, you're now gonna go out and do something. Proactive just means being mindful about what you've learned. It's about utilizing it. And I often find too that people kind of binge watch these teachings, right? I do it too. We go and watch 20 videos in a day, and then we don't really integrate 80 or 90% of it because we've overloaded our system. The best thing to do is watch one video, pull a couple cards, and journal about it. Sit with it, come back to it, listen to it again, really integrate it into your being. And once you've really taken that on, once you see the world from that perspective, then go on to the next teaching. And it can be really easy to binge watch because oftentimes, we like to learn, but it's also an escape. It's really good to watch all those videos and go, oh yes, this feels so good, and it's so tapped in, and you're in that frequency of the videos, and it's really an escape from your own personal healing. It's numbing out, just like it would be to watch any TV show. But we give ourselves the excuse because it feels like it's good information. It's healing us, when really it's an escape. We want to go to that teacher to tell us how to be different, instead of going within ourselves and saying hey, what are the beliefs that aren't working for me? It's about trusting you. It's about understanding that you are also source. It's about trusting that your intuitions, your feelings, your wounds, your nudges, your desires are your compass. They are put there to help you navigate this 3D world. And we can get on a bus and have a bus driver, and it'll take us on the usual course. But if you want to go off-roading, if you want to experience your own journey, you're gonna have to learn how to drive the car. You're gonna have to learn how to drive yourself. And it's really important to understand that a journey of following a teacher isn't wrong, but you're probably not going to find your own personal authenticity. You're probably not going to find your personal greatest expansion until you get close with yourself and understand that you're your own guide, and that your spirit guides are there to guide you, and that your own inner being is there to have an experience, not just to follow someone who knows better. And so this can be, even this can, be oh yeah, that makes sense. And then you just go on and continue doing it. But take it on. Are you allowing yourself to trust your own intuitions? And here's the thing, all your intuitions may not be in alignment with, universal truth. All your nudges may not be fully in alignment with, they might come from, your wounds and things like that. But here's the thing, that's actually taking you on a path of mindfulness, because it's going to take you to places that you go, oh, okay, that's why that didn't work. Okay, that was, that was based out of fear. Okay, and it's about being mindful in all of your decisions. Your decisions are just, there's no path that's wrong. Yeah, there's paths that might be more uncomfortable. There might be paths that feel better. There might be paths that, there's paths that feel good and there's paths that don't. Neither are wrong. But when you're on a path that doesn't feel good, if you're mindful about it, you can go, oh, okay. All right, whatever decisions and beliefs I'm making or making up, this isn't working for me. This doesn't feel good. And then you can navigate yourself away from it. But no one can tell you what that is. And again, you can get clarity from a teacher. If you're really struggling with something, of course, going and finding wisdom from other people is really powerful. But then it's about what you do with that information. No one's here to save you. No one's here to live your life for you. And no one's more connected to source than you. It's just about, are you allowing yourself to be aware of it? Are you allowing yourself to be open to that knowledge and that full, like I like to say, energetic water faucet? Are you allowing that to be fully turned on so that it flows through you? That's the only difference. It's the people who've engaged in that and they're allowing themselves to bathe in the full, shower of spirit. Or are you, letting it drip out of the faucet and, you're like starving yourself? That's the difference. And there's no right or wrong way to open that up. It's about finding what feels good to you. Listen to the music that makes you feel empowered. Meditate in the way that feels best to you. Meditation can come in many forms: dancing, drawing, art, singing. There's a myriad of things. It's when your flow is turned on, and you'll feel it because you'll lose track of time. Writing, acting, whatever, you'll lose track of time. You'll feel good when you do it. That's your flow. That's your meditation. That's when you're in your channeled state. When you're in that, that's when you're open and you can really come into a space of alignment. That's why, athletes and artists, create such amazing things when they're in the mode. That's them channeling. That's them channeling their full essence. And that's why they're excellent. That's why they really excel, because they allow that faucet to be fully turned on. And so there's tons of ways to do that. It could be sailing. It could be yoga. It could be designing clothing. It could be painting. It could be being a tarot reader. It could be being a singer. So whatever your soul has decided feels good in this life, whatever resonates for you, that's what's going to open you up to spirit. And when you engage more in that every day, that's what's going to feel good. And that's actually where you're going to awaken. It's about not judging what that is for you too, because oftentimes it's not what we've been told is, worth our time, or, it doesn't matter. It could be watering plants. It could be digging ditches. It really doesn't matter. It's about what brings you peace. It's what's going to make you feel alive and what makes you feel fulfilled. That's what you need to be doing. It's when you're in this neutral state of just, yes. And you're excited to do it more, and you're excited to be present with it. And yes, it could be, as simple as taking a beautiful nap. It could be masturbating. We see those things as, not worth anything because it's not producing anything. But when you're in that flow of natural presence with yourself, when you're in that natural flow, and you're not judging it, you're not doing it because there's, a lack, or you're not doing it because, or, you're doing it because, there's a fear, that's a relief, and that's good too. But it's when you're doing it, you're like, oh, this is just magic. I want to be here and present in this moment. This feels good. I want to engage in this. If it didn't make me money, if it didn't, I would do this no matter what. The idea of, if money wasn't an issue, what would you be doing? That's your flow. And that's what you're here to do. And again, a teacher is going to bring that clarity to you, be like, here, maybe follow after this feeling. Any guru that says, this list of things is what's going to awaken you. And no other way. they're actually very disconnected to the concept of source and oneness, and what it means to be incarnated as a spiritual being here in a physical body. A real guru is going to say, trust your intuition, trust what feels good. Here's the general blueprints of how to, drive the car, but then now you go and take it and drive it where you want. This is the general system that's going to work for you, and it's going to be different for everyone too. Everyone has a different car, so there are basic things, but you have to fuel your car. You have to make sure you give it checkups, check in with it, make sure it gets the replacements it needs. There are basic things that are very helpful, but then it's up to you what you're going to do with it. And so it's the guru's job to give you those tools. Here's your toolbox. This is where you get gas. Here's multiple places where you can get gas. Here you can get gas all the way along the road, and it's going to be different gas for different people. An electric car is going to need something very different from a car that needs gasoline. Or now they're having these new cars that are going to be run by solar. It's about knowing what repowers you. It's about understanding that, they're going to give you the map and go, here's all these roads. But it's up to you to decide what road you're going to drive down. There's going to be roads that excite you more than others. There's going to be ones that have beautiful views. There's going to be ones that go through towns that you don't like. There's going to be ones, and then, explore why you don't like them. Explore what makes you feel uncomfortable. Explore why it makes you feel amazing to go and look at that sunset over that mountain. And of course, these are all metaphors for your own personal journey. So, of course, go to teachers. They do know what they're talking about. In the sense of, they've done the work. They've put in a lot of work, but they're not perfect. They're not infallible. And they're also going to teach you what's worked best for them. And you can take that knowledge in and go, okay, wow, okay, that's interesting, but you're going to have to tweak it for yourself. And so teachers are not here to save you. They're not here to make your life perfect. They're not here to fix you. They're here to show you the way so that you can then take the journey yourself. So I hope this was helpful. Of course, this is just what I've learned and realized myself. So take what resonates, take what feels good, sit with what's uncomfortable, get mindful about why it's uncomfortable, and, either integrate it or release it if it doesn't resonate. And I did a post recently on my other social media about this topic as well. So if you want to read that, you can. All the links to those are in the description down below. Yeah. And if you would like a personal reading from me, or you'd like to, connect, you can follow me on my other social media, or you can go down to my Etsy shop where I do personal readings for people. And those readings are just guidance. I try to, give someone a snapshot of where they're at so that they can use that information and they can utilize it on their journey. I don't want to be giving, the same person a reading every single week, because that means they're not integrating it. It means they keep coming back to me for guidance. I want to give them a reading, then they can go and utilize it, and they can go explore it, and then they, go back and listen to the reading again a few weeks later and go, okay, do some journaling with it. And then, if, in 5-6 months, down the road, they're at a different place and they go, okay, I want a little more clarity. Then, coming back and getting another snapshot. And ultimately, I want to teach people how to read their own cards. I want people to tap into it themselves. I want them to journal. And of course, I love sharing what I know. That's my personal passion. And we really need that on this planet right now. In a few hundred years, it's not going to be super necessary. And there will be different teachers teaching different things, breaking out of those paradigms. And it'll look very, very different. But right now, I'm doing my job the best I can. But I always want people to go back, take what I have and really utilize it. Mold it for themselves and elevate themselves to trusting themselves a little more. And once they elevate there, if they need to come back and get, another nudge and a little boost, then they can trust themselves a little more, and eventually just be on their own journey and trusting themselves. That's the goal. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for engaging in this beautiful exchange. I'm so appreciative that I get to do this, that I get to connect with you guys. And I love every time I get new subscribers, new followers, new comments, new messages. It's so exciting because I get to expand, connecting with more souls. I get to, just, get to know more beautiful beings, and it's very, very exciting. And I love what I do, and I love connecting with you all, and I love always getting those confirmations of how there's synchronicities for the videos I'm posting, and there's synchronicities and how they're on their journey, and how I confirm it for them so that they can, launch forward, more, as Abraham would say, more rockets of desire, and they get to go farther on their journey. That's so exciting to me. It really gives me personal joy and passion. I like being able to help people on that, because I have been able to experience that through so many other beings, and it's really helped me on my journey. And so I love that I can be that for someone else, so that they can move on through their journey and meet new teachers and find new things and find their community and find their stride and their passion and their joy. That excites to me. And if I never talk to them again, that's okay. If I create a new friendship and a new joy and a new connection, that's beautiful too. Either way, I love that I get to be a part of their journey and that they get to be a part of my journey. And that's just really, really magic, because everyone is a teacher if you allow them to be. Everyone's a teacher, everyone's a lesson, everyone's a synchronicity. Everyone is an opportunity. Every experience is an opportunity to check in with your vibration and what you're creating, and understand the universe better, understand ourselves better, which we are the universe. Every time we understand ourselves better, it's consciousness, it's source understanding itself better. And that's very, very exciting. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a like and hit subscribe if you want to see more videos like this in the future. I do readings. I try every Friday for the collective. But we talk about connecting to spirit, connecting to ourselves, self-love, sustainable living, all that yummy stuff. So if that resonates with you, definitely hit the subscribe button, and welcome to our little soul journey family. And I love connecting with you guys. So thank you so, so much for watching. Don't forget to breathe. If you don't understand something, ask. Listen again. And that's with everything, engage in the learning. It's very exciting. So yes, share this if you found it helpful. And I hope to see you again. And if not, so many blessings on your journey, so much peace on your journey, so much expansion on your journey. Namaste. And don't forget, it is all about the soul journey. Bye.